In this kick drum technique series, we've been talking all about pedal optimization and right foot technique, but none of that is any good if our right foot isn't coordinated enough to play well along with our other limbs. In today's conclusion to the series, I'll teach you several rudimental and some linear patterns that'll really help free up your right foot and expand your ability to play complex patterns actually with both feet on the drums. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to the Non-Glamorous Drummer, the channel all about teaching you the core drumming skills that help you make music faster on the drums. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. The playing example that I showed you back there at the very top of the video was just about entirely made up of these linear rudiments that we're talking about today. So first big rudiment for increasing foot independence, just basic foot coordination and the ability to play on syncopated parts of the beat. Foot paradiddles, that I did not do any of in that particular example. I was sticking more to the linear stuff because everything else we're going to talk about today is basically linear stuff between hands and foot. But this is just between the feet, although you can definitely expand this to be between either foot and either hand. But basically it's as simple as this. Practice slow paradiddles between your feet. You don't have to have a double bass pedal to do this. If you do, practice on the double bass, but go back and forth between kick and hi-hat and make sure you can play even, that's the key, even paradiddles. So go as slow as you need to make sure you're getting it comfortable and even, because what we don't want is if it feels like that, no matter how fast you get it, you're not really teaching each foot to play at proper parts of the beat because it's sloppy. So make sure you're getting it really clean. I would recommend slowing it down to, we're gonna go 50. We'll play them at 50 and see how that feels. I'd say even slower than that to start out. Here's 45. And then as soon as you start to get those comfortable, take them a little faster. Here's 60. And then once you feel like you've got a good handle on them, turn them into a groove. Add in some right hand timekeeping, add in a backbeat. That's definitely an additional big level of challenge for sure. But if you've got the foot paradiddles down, go ahead and practice coordinating that with your hands. That's a big step. And so that alone right there is a really fun, really challenging thing to practice. So try that out. Work the slow paradiddles, gradually bring them up in tempo, add in some eighth notes with your right hand, add in a backbeat, and that'll really push your feet coordination and each foot's ability to play on syncopated parts of the beats, like the E or the of the beat. But now for our other 5 patterns. These are all linear patterns between right foot and either hand, depending on how we stick them. And actually, you could choose to stick them whatever way you want to take this a level beyond what I show you today. But the first one is just basic Bonham style triplets. We may or may not play these as triplets, but they will be groupings of 3. In other words, it might not be a triplet context. For those of you fellow music theory nerds out there, you know what I'm talking about. Just because we're talking about a grouping of 3 doesn't mean they're triplets. But basically it's just this. Kick, left, right, kick, left, right, kick, left, right. We can orchestrate that however we want to around the kit. And we can pretty quickly get that fast. The key is we want it to be smooth. And in order for it to be smooth, it's got to be very steady and comfortable even when it's very slow. You can also switch the hands around and go kick right, left in the midst of that. And switch it up to make things even more interesting. But the point there is that the right foot has to learn to sit exactly in the middle of that spacing we've given to it. Boom, good. It's got to be smooth. It's got to sit right there. What we don't want is it's got to be totally smooth. And so again, the most important thing here is to go super slow, get it smooth. That way you can take it faster. because that can become a very easy thing to play fast, plus it sounds really cool, and it's a fun little lick to add in. The next thing, just singles between a hand and your right foot. You can just practice it some with right hand, some with left hand. Being able to do that quickly and confidently can be a cool way to transition in and out of the bottom style groupings of 3. You want to go from that into something else. Doubles between hands and feet. Now you can do this right, left, foot, foot, right, left, foot, foot. You can start anywhere. You can start with the foot, or you could even go right foot, foot, left, right foot, foot, or you could use just right hand, just left hand. It doesn't matter. Use all of them. Go the extra mile. Practice this as many ways as you can. Or start it on the offbeat like that. So there's a lot of different ways you could practice this. It's very flexible. You could also go which honestly is kind of a sidetrack because that's not exactly linear if we're hitting the ride also. But just a fun thing to do as you're working up your foot technique from the last video, and you're working on tightening up your right hand with your right foot, just an additional exercise to do. But I'd encourage you to practice it in a linear way where nothing's happening with your kick, so it's learning to happen in time without the aid of any other hand. This next one, I call these 4s. We're not going like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Really, we're just playing singles, and every 4th note, we're playing on the kick. Which is really practical if you want to play a fill like. So that can be really cool. Right, left, right, right, left, right, kick, right, right, left, right, kick, left. You could even end it different ways. But practice doing just that. Right, left, right, kick, right, left, right, kick. All the while making sure it's tight, making sure that kick is locking in where it's supposed to. Also practice 6s. So what we'll do is extend that single a little bit longer so our 6th note is played on the kick. So that just provides an additional interesting way to shake it up a little bit. And so that whole time I was literally just playing 4s and 6s, just a mix of them. And when you orchestrate it randomly around the kit, it gets really interesting sounding, and it sounds way more complicated than it actually is. So I love how you can use these basic sort of linear rudiments, as I like to call them, building blocks to create something really cool. So check out this playing example that I showed you a little of from the beginning of the video, which is literally just me mashing up all of this into randomness. And for the most part, probably 95, 98% of what I'm playing is strictly based on those parts. The triplets, which you will hear me play them really fast as triplets in a couple of spots, and then singles, doubles, 4s, 6s, so be listening for all of those. Practical application. How does all of this actually help us as drummers? What is this doing for us? Is it really worth practicing all of this? What's the point? Practicing paradiddles with our feet gets each foot used to playing on syncopated parts of the beat. That's big, especially for left foot coordination, because if you're playing paradiddle, your left foot is playing on parts of the beat it's probably never played on before if you're just used to going and just playing like eighth note time or something like that. And so you're freeing up your left foot to think a little differently, and you're making sure your right foot is free to play in random spots too. And that's the power of paradiddles. Each foot ends up playing in some random part of the beat at some point in the exercise. And then by the time you add in right hand over here and a backbeat, you're really making sure that your feet are fully independent of your hands. And so it's freeing up your feet to do whatever while your hands do whatever. So it's a big, powerful coordination exercise. So definitely make that a regular part of your practicing. And also that can help you just with basic paradiddle-esque grooves between kick and snare, like where it might be a heavily paradiddle-based kick snare pattern like that. So it's gonna only make that easier for you. And those linear patterns, they test your coordination, but they also help you to build it when you practice them patiently, slowly. And that's the key. You really can't rush those. You really can't rush your learning of those patterns because they have to be clean, they have to be smooth, otherwise it turns into a giant mess very easily. And so they will test your coordination. You'll see where your coordination's at as you begin to practice those. But by taking them really slow and practicing them patiently every day, they're going to increase your coordination a lot because they're teaching your foot to play at exactly the right moment by itself. So you're training it to be independent, which is exactly what we want. We want independence. And so you can do the same thing with your left foot. You can play all these exercises with your left foot instead. I guess doubles can get a little squirrely because you can only go so fast over here, but you can definitely get creative with it and play around with that and even practice going like, basically play doubles between your hands and both of your feet as Basically play doubles between both of your hands and both of your feet as if you had a double bass pedal set up and you're going right, left, right, left. Get creative with this. Take the initiative to really dig in and practice this and test out different ways to do it to further your coordination. Because if you do that and if you practice these with that approach, you're going to grow a ton. Your coordination is going to improve a lot. So your action steps for this lesson are pretty straightforward, and you can also grab the PDF below with all the notation that lays it out nicely for you. But yeah, go practice these. Practice them patiently, practice them slowly. You will get results. See if over time, over the coming weeks, months, this doesn't free your foot up more and enable you to play syncopated patterns and more complex patterns more easily. Hey, I hope this video lesson helped you out. I hope this whole series has helped you out. This is the conclusion to it. And if you still have any additional questions regarding kick drum technique, shoot me an email because, I mean, I'm always open to doing more videos like this, and who knows, we could even do another series down the road. But I know this is a popular topic, and I hope this whole thing has helped you out a bunch. If you're new to the channel, if you just stumbled on this, be sure to watch the previous videos too, where we talk about pedal optimization, bearing versus bouncing the beater, toe technique to really work on increasing our speed, all the fundamental basic kick drum techniques. So be sure to check that out. As always, guys, thanks so much for watching, and I will see you on the next video. Have a great week.